So how's everybody doing tonight? Good? Happy with the new venue? Okay. My name's Gene O'Donnell, and if you've been to IndyPy before, you have probably done something with CrowdPixie before, but I'm going to talk about something a little bit new. So, as you know, I'm a sports fan. I like every kind of sport. Football, baseball, Pacers, whatever. But there's one thing I hate about going to a sporting event. That's going to the concession stand. Because you stand in line, you pay for an expensive beer, and then they spill half of it, or it's cold, or, oh, you missed 2/3 of the game because you were waiting in line. So we want to change that experience. And in fact, a couple years ago, I had the good fortune to be able to have a good experience. Unfortunately, it meant I had to pay about $10,000 a year for the tickets, so I wasn't really into that. So what do we want to do? Well, we want you to be able to order food at your seat anywhere in the stadium and get it now. Have the concession stand come to you rather than you going there. So how are we going to do that? It's really pretty simple. All you have to do is hold up your phone for a few seconds and tell us where you are in the stadium. So once we know where you are in the stadium, then you can see my phone just told me I was at IndyPy. What we can do is now you are directed to a web portal which is run by the concession owner at the stadium, and you can buy concessions, beer, pretzels, whatever, pizza, right from your seat using the secure web portal, which is based on your presence in the stadium. So, pretty simple to do. All you have to do is, once you're checked in, now we can contact you. So when your food's ready, we'll tell you, hey, your order's on your way. If you say, gosh, I'm going to the bathroom right now, or gee, I met this really great looking gal and I'm over in another part of the stadium, you can just check in where you are and we'll know where you are. So no more breakage, no more, oh, I ordered it, but it never showed up. So Jason mentioned, how big is this market? Well, in 2017, the concessions in stadiums were about a $9 billion market. We think that about a third of people would like to get it delivered to them. So we think we can get about a third of that volume. And we think we can get about 10% because we think we'll do probably 30% more business in most of the stadiums because you can get it now and get it in your place. So we think our serviceable market in the US with what we can do is about $30 million. So who do we have to get to do this? The people who already run the concessions. Sodexo, Aramark, Cintas. So those are the people we'd like to meet at PyCon. Those are the relationships we'd like to build, just like Wes talked about targeting people, getting there. That's what we want to do. Oops. So there are other people in the space. That kind of validates that there is a market here. There's one called Yinscam, which is actually the guys who make the NBA app, and they use ultrasonic beacons to find you. Venue Next is partnered with Aruba Networks. They use Bluetooth Low Energy. All of those take a lot of expense and a lot of complex stuff to make sure they can find you. We're pretty simple. All we need is a line of sight. So as you can see, we have a working prototype. Obviously, my phone found me. And we already have the camera app in the iPhone store, so any of our clients can download it, install cameras in the stadium, and they're ready to go. We have a patent on the system issued in the US, and we have applied for patents in Europe, Japan, China, and India, and we expect to get those granted in the next year or two. Our advisory board is made up of executives from Cha-Cha Search, my old buddy Scott Jones, and Moby Wireless, and my brother-in-law who happens to run the International Orthodontics Association, because we think there's a market for this in association management too. So, I hope you'll vote for us. Any questions? Yes, please. So that was based on, so the question was, how did we get to the 30% number? So today, about 5% of the fans have access to ordering from the restaurant service in the premium sections. Like if you go to the club seats at a Pacers game, about 5% of the fans have access to that. But for example, the NBA believes they can get more than a 50% increase in revenue if they can do in-seat service. Yes, Jason? So Python is actually, oh, where do we use Python in our stack? So actually the Anvil presentation was interesting, but we have a Flask app that actually serves our web page, which lets the licensee manage the audience. And we also, the back-end server is just an API that's based on Flask and runs on Python. Okay? Well, they've already helped me out a lot because I've done a lot of rather chaotic demos of the technology. But in addition to that, look for us when you go to an event because we are one app for all. We would be the same technology in, in the Lucas Oil Stadium or Bankers Life or out at whatever Verizon Music is now. Ruoff. Yes, sir. So how do we make money? So we make money because we get a percentage of the revenue increase for the concession provider. We win when they win. Wes? So our big advantage over seat numbers is threefold. The first one is the customer doesn't have to do it. So there's no barrier to entry because if you have to put in your seat number, particularly if you bought your tickets from a scalper, or maybe you're at a venue like Verizon or whatever it is now, Deer Creek, I can't remember, where there is no assigned seating, we can find you anywhere. In fact, we could find you anywhere in this bar if we wanted to. All you have to have is a camera, and the camera can see you about a range of anywhere between 100 to 150 feet. So easier than a barcode, and in principle, takes about 5 seconds to find you. How many cameras would we need in Lucas Oil Stadium? It depends on if we want to cover the stadium itself or the stadium and all of the hallways, but we could cover Lucas Oil with between 15 to 20 cameras. A single camera can find roughly 5,000 to 10,000 people, depending on whether you use 4K video or 2K video. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? We would prefer to install new cameras because we can control the camera. In fact, we have an iPhone app that runs the camera, so it allows us to have an intelligent camera rather than just an existing security camera, because we do need to control the brightness and things like that so that we can properly detect what we want to see and ignore the background. So the question was, are we stuck with being mobile apps like iPhone or Android, or could we be a web app? And I guess I would say the use of a dedicated app allows us to control the timing of the signals that come from the device. Running that in a browser might not work very well. So short answer, yes, we're tied to an app. Other questions? I'm sorry, I can't hear. So the question is, would there be a staffing issue if you did this at scale? And the answer is unknown. The fact is that, in fact, most servers spend at least half of their time, if not more, just polling the customer to see if they want something. In this case, the customer pulls the server to them rather than the server pushing them and saying, do you need some more coffee? Do you want another beer? Should I take that stuff away? So it's a pull system rather than a push system. So we think it would be at least 50 or maybe even 60% more efficient than the current polling system. So the question was, how tolerant are we of full sunlight and bright areas? So right now we have not done full-scale testing in bright sunlight. We have done laboratory type testing in sunlight, and basically our system is very tolerant of that unwanted noise because we use temporal filtering, which is what the flashing allows us to do. And because it flashes at a very specific rate, and we have error detection and correction just like you'd have with internet communication, it's very unlikely that we would misdetect you. But also unlikely we would have false negatives as well. So we have a 3D model of the stadium, and so we take that 3D model and we project it into a plane, which is the plane of view of the camera. So it's there's OpenCV libraries that'll do that pretty easily. Thank you.